Oh yeah, okay. Now back to Rob Kardashian. This is one of those things where I'm baffled that it's getting the same. It's not the same amount of attention because Johnny Depp is just such a cultural icon.
Mm-hmm. And the news cycle is crazy this week because of all the Elon Musk Twitter stuff, and then he's coming up with the Amber Heard trial, which is making that even bigger.
Yep.
Like it's a really busy week as it turns out, but only for certain concentrated events.
So if you read this caption says it all. It says Rob Kardashian says Blac Chyna beat me with a metal rod and pulled a gun during a fight.
So we knew about
just regular
her holding him at gunpoint already.
But that
the metal
one
rod is new.
But the gunpoint story was characterized in a more like
she was joking.
Like it was a joking light.
Well,
but it wasn't really
a
joke. I mean...
She said it was joking.
Even if it was a joke,
no one else believed
the
her.
motive behind doing that joke was to frighten him, not
like ha 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 ha. Yeah, be afraid.
Yeah,
be very,
yeah,
very
and
afraid.
like along with the iPhone cord around the neck.
We already talked about this last time, but like no one who has actually properly trained in gun safety
would ever
and
do
who
that.
really respects guns would
even
ever do this as a joke.
That, yeah,
like what are you talking about?
You don't even really do that with like a BB gun that's unloaded ever.
You just don't do it with anything because that's a psychotic way to behave.
It's funny because like you think of actors and it's like no wonder that they would have no problem doing that because they're literally like they have safety unless you're Alec Baldwin and you've got like a safety team that actually knows what they're doing and show you
Alec Baldwin, who was on his school's rifle team that his dad was the instructor of.
Totally
over
normal.
to you.
I'm just like like they on a regular basis put guns in the faces of people that they don't actually wish to harm in the context of, are you having fun destroying your bottle there?
Stop, don't draw attention to me.
I'm drawing attention to you. Okay, so it says Rob Kardashian claims that ex-fiance Blac Chyna beat him with a metal rod and pulled a gun on him during a December 2016 brawl. I love the categorization of brawl.
Isn't that I love
brouhaha.
Yes. I one of like I made a solo skating section and it was originally going to be called the One Man Brouhaha.
That's hilarious.
So it's a great
I think if there are 3 people or more involved, it turns into a brouhaha.
Yeah. Or a hullabaloo.
I think it's bizarre
Hullabaloo.
that they're like, oh yeah. If I like came in and I was dating someone and I was like, oh yeah, we had a brawl this weekend, like
or a throwdown.
We threw hands.
That could mean a dance or a fight.
Basically, it's professional wrestling at this point.
They just had this one brawl.
Maybe this metal rod thing was a joke too. This is just her.
She's
comedy
really
skit.
funny.
Remember my advice: always live as if you're about to be deposed.
I believe her when she says that it was a joke. I just realized that she has a sick sense of humor.
I don't think it was a joke.
Like her sense of humor is inflicting pain on other people.
See, I don't think it was a joke. I think the threat is real, and what she's saying is like, I wouldn't have actually shot him, but I did want to prove a point. Yeah. And that's just as crazy.
That's scarier.
Worse. And it's worse that she's like, no, it was a joke. Like she can't differentiate between like the threat of violence and like an empty threat. And either way, both are unacceptable.
Yeah. So inside the courtroom, a video is shown of Rob waving $100 bills and throwing it at Chyna with the model looking pleased. I love the with the model looking pleased part.
Well, because like theoretically, if you were throwing at her like, look, I'm providing you all this money, and she felt insulted, then like you could maybe argue he instigated a fight or something.
But the night allegedly became violent, with the discord lasting until the next morning. Rob alleged that Chyna pulled a gun on him twice, hit him with a metal rod, and scratched him and struck him with an iPhone cord. I don't know how you. I mean,
a whip.
Yeah, like.
Oh, that would hurt.
Yes.
Also, didn't she choke him with an iPhone cord?
Also, I don't know what year this was, so I don't know if this was an iPhone 4 cord, that tip could have hurt more than if it was an iPhone 5 and above. It depends. But 26
happened multiple times, actually.
So to me, this is when
she upgrades her phone. He's like, please no.
Please no. He buys her the cords with like that looks like a shoelace because it hurts less than the rubber cord.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, no.
He's planning ahead.
It could be worse. She could be throwing the phone at him, which
this is so sick that we're even talking about
it.
It
is crazy that it's like, what do you mean this person is like, I don't know. This is crazy.
She landed several blows to my face, my back. Rob claimed of the metal pole Chyna allegedly used to hit him. She ripped I'm imagining it as like a selfie stick.
Oh,
I was thinking like a closet bar, like one of those tension rods.
What? Okay, let's okay. What is she more likely to be holding? Is she going to be repairing stuff in her closet, or is she going to be holding a
tripod?
Maybe like I don't know. Like, this person is like so irrational to me that I cannot imagine the world she's living in.
See, this is like I was telling Mary earlier off air. I was just like, these things are like some of the times these things are so hard to talk about because it's so ridiculous that I'm so divorced from a world where this would be normal behavior that I have a hard time saying like. And then you say what? You say, and they're nuts. But it's like culturally, these people hold significant weight in the world we live in, whether we like it or not.
But I mean,
people
really,
look up to these
situations
people.
like this are more common
Yeah,
than anybody realizes. So it's not even that crazy.
I was gonna say, I think actually conflicts that become physical, like if you were to write them out, like let's say in a police report, they would sound insane. And then he picked up the hot pan and threw it at my head, and you would think no rational person does that. But when people who have low impulse control and are irrational start fighting, they do irrational things that are not safe. So it does sound crazy that he's like in this relationship where she's apparently pulled a gun multiple times, hitting him with a metal rod. On the other hand, I actually think we'd have to talk to like a domestic violence counselor who would be like, oh, I've seen everything.
When asked by Chyna's attorney, Lynn Ciani, why he didn't show bruising in the videos recorded after the incident, Rob shot back, she landed several blows on my body with the metal rod, but not everyone is going to bruise just because someone hits you. It didn't leave a mark. And when I had a gun to my temple, the cord around my neck, I'm sure that left a mark, but no, I didn't need a Band-Aid. Everything I testified to happened, he continued. She was on cocaine and alcohol. She has a history of doing this. Just because I didn't have marks doesn't mean it's not true. Stop putting that out there. It's not fair. And he's right. It is not fair to, I mean, but that's the lawyer's job.
Wouldn't that be a crazy precedent that's like, well, that person hit you, but they didn't hit you hard enough to actually leave a bruise, so it doesn't count? Like, that would be a weird
If you're
thing.
not internally bleeding, you weren't abused.
If you didn't have to go to the hospital, it doesn't count.
And also remember, one of the things that you pointed out that's very important here is that she doesn't have custody of her daughter.
She doesn't have custody of her 9-year-old son or the daughter she shares with Rob Kardashian.
So in a justice system that is fairly heavily swayed in the direction of giving women the benefit of the doubt when it comes to custody, I don't think anybody would. I don't think that's a presumptuous statement.
I mean, like, I am not going to research it, but like, that means that they established that she was probably not providing a safe home for their children. Like, it's not illogical to conclude she didn't provide a safe environment for her partners either.
Yep. So it says Chyna told the court last week that she was just joking when she put a gun to Rob's head and wrapped an iPhone cord around her neck. We talked about that. She claimed that the threat wasn't serious and that Rob appeared to find her actions amusing. It was not loaded, she testified. I would never shoot Rob or anyone at that. It was just joking, like, haha. So again, no. I'm sorry, but you don't joke about stuff like that. It's one of those things that most likely, you don't know what his reaction is going to be. I don't know if I trust that they both like emptied the magazine and checked and then like cleared the chamber. I'm not sure if I buy that. Like,
I completely believe she didn't. I mean, there's no way. I don't believe her if she actually knew the gun was loaded or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't
and
trust
the fact
that
it was just sitting there.
Free, not in a safe at all. Like, I don't buy that if she was on coke and drinking a bunch that she's like, better check the magazine, better check the chamber. Oh, now I can go hold it to my
In the
boyfriend's
middle,
head.
But like heated dispute too.
Yeah.
Like,
He admitted that he did think it was just playful until like the second gun encounter, whatever encounter means, is when he thought it was serious.
Yep.
So I get that, like,
but also like, I don't know, maybe this is giving Rob Kardashian too much leeway here, but like, if you've never had someone threaten you with a gun, like
maybe you don't know the gravity of it.
Yeah, and you're like, there's no way you're being serious right now, right?
But then he said, you don't point a gun on your fiance's head, whether you think it's loaded or not.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Rob Kardashian, bastion of common sense and reasonable behavior.
It's crazy that needs to be pointed out.
2022 was
There's
weird,
this There's this says Corey Gamble, Chyna threatened to kill Rob. I broke up their fight. Corey Gamble said he heard Blac Chyna threaten to kill Rob Kardashian multiple times during the night of their blowout fight, once over the phone and again in person. Corey was called to the stand on Tuesday for the first time in Chyna's trial, giving his account of the fight. And what's crazy is she's the one doing the suing here, right? So all of this character assassination is because she's
something
suing.
she brought on herself.
Yeah.
That like everyone would have remained silent about it.
Which
otherwise.
I also think like proves that she thinks that like she's untouchable. Like there's an element of narcissism here. Like narcissists don't think anyone can baffle them or like prove them wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just, this is a very crazy story. And then finally, Tokyo Tony, Blac Chyna wouldn't hurt a fly. The Kardashians are the real threat.
Tokyo. So is this not like
the
appropriation
woman
of
who
culture?
who physically threatened the judge?
Yes. I do want to point out.
She wants to speak on it?
I asked her about this earlier. I said, is Blac Chyna of
Chinese
Like
descent.
part
Part
Asian descent?
Neither
They're
her.
not.
They're not. So
That
just
kind of came out of
Tokyo
nowhere.
Tony, Blac Chyna, and no, they're okay.
I did think that they were, but no.
so there's
So
like,
she threatened a judge, and she would never hurt a
Yeah,
fly.
but now she's speaking on it.
What did
like,
she say to
okay.
the judge? Wait, which one threatened the judge?
the mom
The
did.
mom.
Tokyo Tony threatened the judge.
And I bet Blac Chyna was like, "What is your problem? You're ruining everything."
You're supposed to do it with an unloaded gun.
Tokyo Tony tells us they're all trying to paint her and her daughter as crazy people, but in reality, they're just standing up for their rights. Tony might, the right to remain silent, maybe. Dun, 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 dun. Tony might have a hard time convincing some folks because she's had issues of her own. Remember, Tokyo was actually banned from the courtroom after firing shots at the Kardashians on Instagram Live. She dug herself into a deeper hole after threatening the judge for kicking her out, saying, "I'm gonna get that judge."
I love that she said she was quick to add the Kardashians are the violent ones.
Yes,
Their show proves it because Kim hit her
one of them with a
sister with her
bag.
purse
Yep.
one time.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I was to weigh getting hit with a purse by my sister and my fiance holding a gun to my head,
It's a
I mean,
little bit different.
there's a slight difference there. But hey, death of nuance and all. So I don't know I don't know what I think about this part of it, other than these people. It's just like the Kardashians are not a threat to society on a physical level. I mean, there could be
on
arguments
a psychological
on a
level, absolutely, yes.
on a psychological
and we're
level.
undergoing that right now as we speak.
I just can't get over this last line. Tony says she's here only to support her daughter, who, by the way, she says is trying to stay positive throughout all of this.
Yeah.
What? I would hope so, I guess.
So she's very worried. She's
If anyone was wondering, is Blac Chyna staying positive?
I do
Well,
want
now
to.
you know.
I would be curious, and I don't know enough about it, to see how she reached the $100 million. So she's suing for $100 million in defamation, which is what Amber Heard is countersuing Johnny Depp for. Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard for $50 million. Like, you're supposed to base it off income that you lost, and so it's like plausible, and they might include lawyer fees or like emotional distress, but like, it seems like kind of an arrogant amount to be like, you think you would have made $100 million off of your reality TV show?
I guess.
I guess maybe, but probably not also.
So this is back
You
on
would
this.
have like quadrupled your net worth or something
I don't
with
know.
that TV show.
So I'm just gonna go quickly back to like the story from Corey Gamble talking about how he went in and like broke up the fight, and it says like he got between them and he got hit with the metal rod too. So he's
Metal rod
That's
confirmed.
a throwdown.
So metal Rob
anything.
is confirmed. It says once inside, Corey says that he saw Chyna about 7 feet away from Rob, and she was holding a large rod of some sort in her hand. What could it have been? I still say selfie stick. Do you guys want to weigh in on what you think that rod actually was?
Hand or hands?
I think it says in her hand. So a single hand, so it's not that heavy. So it's not a baseball bat.
And they would have said bat if that was what it
Yeah.
was.
So what do you think it was?
I'm so tempted with curtain rod, just because that feels like it's in every room of every house ever.
But did she get up on a chair and take it down?
if you pull a curtain hard enough, you could take it down, right? Sounds like she was really out of control during this fight.
We may never know what that rod
Mary, what do you think it was?
I think selfie stick is a plausible.
could be a could be a tripod of some sort. Maybe
Tripod.
it's a broken tripod leg from
Or like one that's not assembled?
Yes, that seems very
just
plausible.
got done taking Instagram photos and
Perfect.
that
Yeah.
on the floor.
Oh, and yeah. It's what are the circle lights called?
her
The ring
ring
light?
light.
It's a ring light. Yeah.
Yeah,
That actually would be too on brand to be real.
Corey says he jumped between them to break it apart and was hit in the process. He told the jury he told Rob to get the hell out of here because he thought the situation was dangerous, also testifying that Chyna reeked of booze. I mean, to be fair, they could have both reeked of booze and he wouldn't have been able to tell the difference, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
I think, and this is the defense at work here, but it sounds like they are relying on the fact she has a history of like drug and alcohol abuse. So like he might have had a drink, but it sounds like the implication is that she drinks heavily and uses drugs at the same time.
Gamble says that Chyna took off after Rob as he tried to leave, telling the jury she was furious and wanted to keep attacking, but Corey says he stopped her from chasing after Rob and even tried to hide her keys. Realizing he had blocked in Rob's car with his own, Corey said he went outside to move his whip, but when he did, Chyna jumped back on Rob and continued hitting him, striking blows to Rob's head. So that's like, you have to, if you try to think about it geographically, that is like, that's not like where you get angry in proximity and then you move somebody to the other room and you give them a chance to calm down. She physically followed and went after him, and that's a different type of rage, if you ask me.
It's totally crazy.
So
And then she threw a patio chair at Rob's car.
So basically, anything in their house is not tied down is very, very, very dangerous.
I'm shocked that she was never charged with anything.
I mean, I'm not.
But he would have to file with the police,
Yeah.
right? And like,
And
that's
he just
bad
didn't want
press.
to do that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, what is he gonna say? Like, the police are gonna be like, "Do you have bruises?" And he's gonna be like, "No."
I can't
but it
believe
happened.
that is the metric.
Yep.
But it makes, I mean, like, it is kind of crazy. It does make somewhat of sense because initially you have to be able to be like.
It's also
what?
funny that people who are on camera 24/7, there'd be no recorded evidence.
Also, there's
of it.
no like security footage of
Yeah.
this that we're gonna play in court.
You would think that there would be a security system.
Well, if there was, it got dumped.
Yep.
So-
Right after, I'm sure.
I'm surprised. I mean, like when stuff happens here, people go through and pull clips from our security footage so that it's always on record. So even if we were to get a race, we have a backup file like immediately.
That would be the
I'm
smart thing.
surprised that like no one on Rob's team was like, let me just download this file, and even if it gets wiped, like we'll just have
His
it.
instinct at the time might have been to just protect both of their reputations. at the
Yeah.
same
Business first. Business first.
And
for
I do
them.
think maybe like he doesn't want to be that guy who's like, my girlfriend's beating me up. Like,
yeah,
which is actually
because
serious,
it
and I'm not
feels
saying it in a mocking way.
emasculating.
Especially when you
And
have.
she's actually pretty small. Like, it sounds weird. Like, he's a pretty big guy, but like,
Yeah.
it's still real. It still happens.
He had to consider the idea that Hannah Claire would say that in that voice. And he
Well, I
decided
feel
against
bad
it.
doing it that way, but like, that must be how it feels. Like,
Yeah.
if you're a over 6 foot tall man who has to go to the police and be like, I'm being beaten up by my girlfriend or my fiance. I don't have any bruises, but she's also like.
Held a
I
gun.
mean, what
like-
does size matter when you have the ultimate equalizer in your hand?
Well, then he
No,
has to
it
explain
doesn't,
why
but then
it's
he-
not in a gun case and why it's
Right.
not properly stored. If he has the right to hold it, if he has the right to own
And
it
like,
at all.
no one's addressing here, as far as I can tell. Like, was there a child in the house?
I
Like,
don't
was this
know.
after they had their baby?
I don't
Like,
know if he has. If he has,
maybe he had concerns about like bringing law enforcement in and like somehow losing custody of his kid or like.
Does he have a history? Does he have a felony history of any sort?
No.
No. I would say, because what if he couldn't own the gun legally? Anyways, that would be a
I
problem.
don't. It's her gun, as far as it seems like.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.